Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, races, religious denominations, and colors, welcome to the Thank You Cadicasu episode. I'll get back to the main series, I'll get back to what makes you happy, but first, I had to give credit where credit is due. This is my plea for you if you start this episode to watch it in its entirety and the next episode in its entirety, because some of the best stuff happens near the very end. So I really hope you guys enjoy, and for all of you beautiful people that I just spent 9 weeks with, I miss you, I love you, and I cannot wait to see you guys again. That's all I have to say. Enjoy the episode. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been much too long. And you're probably wondering, what the hell is this? Aren't we supposed to be learning about philosophy or interviewing them about what makes them happy? Well, yes we are. Ugh. Are you kidding me? Yes we are. But also, this is my platform, and I'm gonna do what I want. So, this time, I'm gonna say thank you to all the beautiful people that I met at work, and thank you to the camp that changed my life. Also gave me this really sick blue hoodie. The blue hoodie that we got for staff was not sick. This one, extremely sick. So, I feel good. But I gotta tell you a couple of things right off the bat. First of all, I have the worst chest cold I've ever had in my life. So if a coughing fit occurs, I apologize, but we're gonna roll with it. Second thing second. There's a bunch of people on here that I cannot talk about because they are not legal. They are under legal age. You guys are beautiful human beings, and I'm sorry that I could not tell you how much I appreciate you, but that's your own fault. Get older, and that's all I have to say about that. So, I think to start this off, you're going to ignore my hair and the fact I haven't shaved, because this is a self-care reset day, and after the podcast comes the self-care stuff. It's the first thing in the morning, bruh. Leave me alone. Anyways, let me talk about my experience at Caddy quickly. I'm gonna open this document just in case there's anything in here that I want to mention. So, one of the reasons you may be listening to this is you're a parent, and your kid came flying home, and they were like, Mom, Dad, sorry, let me try that again. Mom, Dad, I got invited to go to Camp Cadicasu. And you were obviously like, Camp Cadica what? And then you Googled it, and you were like, this looks okay. It's more than okay. Let me tell you this much. It is the greatest place on earth. Now, reading from my reflection of my time at Camp Cadicasu this summer, what did I learn this summer? I honestly think it'd be easier to talk about what I didn't learn this summer. I got to Cadicasu during staff training. It was my first year here, and it was absolutely foreign territory. We were being scheduled like children, fed portions that were a little small, which is not a problem anymore. Shout out to the chef lady. We love the chef lady. And we were told to sing a bunch of nonsensical songs around a fire and pretend that that's normal. And the worst part, it is normal now. And not only that, it's one of my favorite parts about camp. I think the moral of this story is that while I may have been low-key worried about being inducted into something I didn't sign up for, Camp Cadicasu makes you feel safe. It makes you feel okay to be who you are. And I genuinely couldn't have asked for a better place to call home for the summer. I showed up, and there's people who have been at Caddy since they were 7. Shout out to my boy. Woo, woo. There's also people who have been at Caddy for a year. But you show up, it's new territory, you're the new guy. Of course I was trying to learn. But it's also a workplace. I'm also a human being. I also have a lot of confidence in myself. So, the first few weeks, while I was trying to learn, I was also trying to show these people who I am. there's these activities that they got us to do during staff training that really illuminated my eyes into what type of place this is. And a lot of those involved the whole staff team. So one of them is called Camouflage. I'm not going to spoil Camouflage for you, but it involves a lot of mud and it involves getting dirty. I was like, there's no way that everybody is going to do this. Well, I was wrong. I think there were 60 staff members, and I could be remembering that wrong, but every single person was covered in mud. It may not have been full body coverage, because some of you are soft, and that's okay, but for a lot of us, it was full body coverage, including our hair. And I was like, okay, these people are clearly all in. This place seems like a place where it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're willing to have fun and put your all into everything. It's going to be a great time. And then, I know a majority of you have probably seen the video on YouTube called Cross the Line. Well, we did the in person, and it was super emotional. Like, maybe I'm just an emotional little man, which is true, but I was in shambles. Watching all of these beautiful people admit to their ignorance, admit to their mistakes, admit to feeling lonely, admit to this, that, and the other thing. That's enough to make a grown man wallow in sadness, weep his tears, because, I don't know, man, you really need activities like that sometimes to remind you that everybody's got their own because I know I'm a human being. I know I have my own stuff, and I know that I have made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I will continue to make mistakes in my life, but it's really easy to fall into a thought pattern that everybody else is perfect and nobody makes these kind of mistakes. So being able to be that vulnerable within the first week of us being there, kids haven't arrived yet, there was a lot of connection that was made during that staff training week that I'm going to be forever grateful for. But as I was saying earlier, I was the new guy. And I've been the new guy before. For example, when I got to Camrose, I was the new guy for a whole year, but I felt like the new guy for about 4 months. And the first 4 months of the year, every day I woke up, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. This place sucks. The people suck. I love basketball, but this isn't worth it. I wasn't going to let that happen again. So I got to Caddy, and I learned. I asked as many questions as I could. I learned as many songs as I could. I learned the ins and outs of what I could as fast as I could. Because I knew who I am as a person. As soon as the kids get there, well, I'm back in my element. You're not going to be able to stop me. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to do it exceptionally. So, that's exactly what happened. And in any workplace, let alone a workplace where you're isolated in the woods, no internet, with 60 people, 60 same people every single day, 5 days a week, for 9 weeks. It's like a lot. Emotions are going to run really high. So, first, before I explain myself, I'm going to take this time to genuinely apologize. I did this during Noah's episode, but this is going to come out first. To every single person that I blew up at this summer. You didn't deserve that. Honestly, I need to be better. And that was one of the biggest things that was talked about during my exit meeting, is making sure that distance from when I'm frustrated to when I blow up keeps getting longer and longer. So, like I said, you didn't deserve that. I was being the worst, and do not let that reflect on you, and hopefully do not let that reflect on the relationship that we built, whoever you are. Because regardless of one blow up, I still see you. I truly see you. And after this episode, I think you'll understand. Caddy is not like other summer camps in Alberta. Caddy has 8 weeks of specialty camps, intermediate and advanced earth skills. There's 2 weeks of both of that. Namaste, which by the grace of God I got to lead the entire last week. That was incredible, and thank you for that opportunity. Protector, which is a martial arts camp. ECTA, which is a camp for 2S LGBTQ plus individuals to come to camp, make connections that'll hopefully be lifelong. Oh, there's another one. Summit and Journey. There's a reason I wasn't thinking about those. Because hiking for fun is stupid. But anyways, they go on hikes and it's fun. This year, I'm not going to speak to it because I didn't do it. And then there's the traditional camp, which is just chaos for 5 days straight. Clan activities, which I'll get into what the clans are later. Clan activities, absolutely incredible. Sing-alongs in the mess hall, outside of the mess hall, absolutely incredible. A gathering circle where we get to give thanks for what we're thankful for, extremely essential and absolutely incredible. Beautiful people leading smaller but equally beautiful people to the woods for an out trip, to the woods for a cookout, to the to the creek to find rocks and fossils, and to break rocks and accidentally kill fish. That was me. I accidentally killed a fish. I'm sorry. Anyways, there's a weight room on campus that looks like it's from a prison. So if you're a potential staff member and you're like, I'm gonna lose my gains, only reason you'll lose your gains is if you stop working hard. Because, okay, that's not necessarily true. You're gonna sweat off at least 10 pounds, and the adjustment to the food you're eating is also going to be probably another 10 pounds. But after that, the only reason you're going to lose your gains is because you're not trying hard enough. Because the prison gym should be good enough for anyone. If you like to lift, don't blame the equipment. You're not, like, come on. As soon as you blame the equipment, something goes off in my head, and I'm like, oh, maybe you're not really dedicated to this. But, hey, don't let me judge you. I'm just saying. If you're trying to get your gains, you'll have a way to get your gains. There's also this staff hangout called the Garage. And Mackenzie, the chef lady I was talking about earlier, she's the greatest. She helped orchestrate the cleaning of the garage for like 3 to 5 days this week. Gave us another spot on camp to be ourselves and hide from the little mongrels. Not when they're conscious, of course, but during our break times. Come on, we're not going to abandon your children. Stop it. Stop it. Anyways, there's a bunch of other beautiful things about camp. The goggle ball pit that falls apart every week. Maybe we should do something about that, but I'm not on maintenance, and I'm not going to tell that boy Caleb how to do his job, because he is phenomenal. There's God's Finger. There's the ranger station that's filled with disease and that we're not allowed to go in. There's 2 beautiful cabins, the East Dorm and the West Dorm. Obviously, I'm partial to the East Dorm, because I was a grizzly bear and a timber wolf at heart all summer. But I had some very good memories in the East, or in the West Dorm as well, because girls' cabins are a lot of fun. But, learning curve. Apparently, girls, it's necessary for you to take a hairbrush on a 1-day out trip. I don't even take my toothbrush, my deodorant, on a 1-day out trip. So, thanks for educating me, but I don't think a hairbrush is a survival item. That's just my opinion. There's 2 beautiful campfire spots. The closer campfire spot has memories in my brain that I will remember for the rest of my life. Watching a girl completely cover herself in blue paint and scream and absolutely kill the impression of Dory was insane. Watching another grown man, I apologize, I'm trying not to swear because this is supposed to help you want to bring your kids to camp. We don't swear at camp, I promise. Anyways, another grown man paint his entire face blue and then just write whale on his chest and go, spray air in the water. Come on, hysterical. And then there was Hagrid one time. That was nuts. There was a Garfield campfire. That was the most fun I think I've had all summer. There was a little magic school bus campfire, which was also a lot of fun. And then at the Owl's Nest campfire, we have what I would say, because I'm not educated enough in it, culturally informed ways of acknowledging the earth under indigenous ways of knowing. Obviously, they're much more secular, much more welcoming and open to everybody, but there's obviously a territory acknowledgement, there is also 4 or 5 signs that go around at the opening campfire that acknowledge the true spirit of camp and what we're here to do. And for me, at least, in as little words as possible, because I have to get started thanking all these people, what we're here to do when it comes to Caddy is to live in the woods all summer, to protect children all summer, to have as much fun as possible all summer, but to know when not to have as much fun as possible. For example, when there's a bear on camp. But that's a story for another time. So I'm going to take a pause and count how many people there are for me to thank, because that's important information. There's 52 people, and I forgot to write the thank yous for 2 of those people, but I can do it stream of consciousness because I love these people and I know them pretty well. So there's 52 people for me to thank. 11,000 words and 19 pages, and I'm going to try and get it done as fast as possible. But we all know Keaton doesn't like to be concise, so y'all might be here with me for maybe more than 1 episode, and that's okay. So here is to Caddy, the best summer of my young life as of now, and to more of them, hopefully in the future. So, starting off with our admin team. Alyssa, aptly dubbed Her Majesty. And how did that come about? Well, I said, Alyssa, can I talk to you on my podcast? And she was like, yeah, as long as you call me Her Majesty. I'm all about the little details. I got you. Our fearless leader and one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. From our first interview, I knew not only that Caddy was the place I wanted to be this summer, that it was a program built by amazing people and for the people. While you may not have been at Caddy for as long as the other boss lady, you truly are part of the experience. It isn't a summer at Caddy without hearing Alyssa cheer everyone on, start our days with a motivational speech, spend some time running away from Odin, who is her beautiful dog with heterochromia, stealing her candy from her desk jar, or cuddling with my daughter Mouse, who Alyssa happens to be the legal owner of, but that's a situation for me and Alyssa to figure out. You have a wellspring of knowledge. Just from looking at you or listening to what you're saying, I can tell. But I can also tell by your knee braces that cartilage is a thing of the past for you. Thus, you must have been an athlete growing up. I can see our similarities on and off the athletic pitch. For example, the importance of keeping everybody on the team upbeat. You truly inspire me every single day. Your drive to continue to make Cadicasu a more welcoming, diverse, and safe space for all the people who chose to be campers, employees, and the like is incredible. I think it was week 2, we sat in your office, and you asked me about how we could continue to make Caddy a safe space for people of color. I told you that at least for the employees, just let us sit down and tell our story. And then you let me do that? So, thank you, genuinely, for that. But I was also talking to Tanisha, and you know what would make waves? A specialty camp specifically for people of color. They come, they cook meals for us, 1 meal every single day. We learn about each other's histories and cultures. It's like ECTA, but for melanin, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I wasn't kidding when I said I would love to sit down and talk to you on my podcast. I would love to get to know Her Majesty outside of work, but I also think it would be awesome to hear about camp life from the admin perspective. So if and when you're willing, you've always got an episode of What Makes You Happy to make at your leisure. Thank you again for bringing me in and allowing me to try and change lives in the name of Cadicasu. I cannot wait to come back and do it all over again. Heather,
the boss lady.
It's hard enough raising 1 kid, let alone 2 kids. But 3? Come on. I cannot even imagine what you and Alyssa do to make sure we have a place to call home for the summers, and you do it on a yearly basis, making a lot less money than most people would assume. From my knowledge, which I will admit is limited, and just observation, working for a non-for-profit, raising 3 of the most beautiful kids I've ever met, except for the little one, bring back the pineapple haircut, and dealing with a loved one in the hospital, that usually means the compensation you make is being redirected elsewhere. I respect you more than I can put into words. This is the type of boss who comes once in a lifetime. She cares so much about every single person who steps onto camp. She is a blessing, but don't get it twisted. She runs the camp with force and ferocity. I am intimidated, and I am a big human being. But in my opinion, that just means you run a tight ship, and only the best of the best can be a part of the crew. So thank you for being such a stable, reassuring, and responsible captain, and welcoming me and everybody else so graciously to your team. You also have a wellspring of knowledge, from yoga to indigenous ways of knowing to a billion other things, I'm sure. I genuinely think you might be one of the smartest people I've ever met. Your ability to just suggest something in the face of someone's problems is a gift. So akin to Her Majesty, if and when you want to sit down and tell the boss lady story on my podcast, I am all in. I also want to acknowledge how hard it must be to be the boss. I ran Namaste this year, and even with 3 of the most amazing coworkers I could have asked for, I had to answer a million questions, make decisions I didn't want to be responsible for, and take all of the blame for things that could have potentially gone wrong. Now think about that on a larger scale. 60 staff members, approximately 120 kids a week, all of this liability just running around, and at the brunt of it, the boss lady Heather. You truly are a shining light and a role model for anyone who wants to succeed in this life and in this profession. Thank you again for the summer of my young life, and I hope we get to work together again in the future and to continue to help shape future generations at Cadicasu. Now Corey, he was not a part of the admin team, but he is an adult, so he is here as well. This one's going to be short, but Corey is the man. He is the guest instructor for our Apisi and our Anawa specialty camps, which are introductory and advanced earth skills, and this guy knows just about everything. He taught me how to make mega matches, long matches, forest tongs, identify and utilize a creek stone to sharpen a knife, and more. He taught the kids how to use throwing knives, which is cool, not illegal, don't get mad at him. How to make a deer hide waterproof pouch, how to start a fire from a single tree branch and its twigs, and so much more. Although not everyone acknowledges the usefulness of our skills, I was a biology student, so learning about life is everything to me. I am so sad that I didn't get a week with you this summer, but I aspire to learn from you and learn about you as much as possible in the coming summers. Thank you so much for the time you take to make Caddy such a special place, and I genuinely see and understand the time and effort you put into making sure these lessons are engaging, informative, and useful for not only the campers, but the staff members as well. You, sir, are very good at your job. Now, before I get into the 4 clans, I have 2 more people to thank, and the only reason they're not grouped in with their clan is because Keaton's a big dummy. There is a list of who is in each clan on the wall upstairs in the staff lounge, and you guys weren't on the list. And instead of asking, I was just like, it's fine. Well, it is fine, but it's also not fine. So I apologize for not acknowledging your clan families, but I love you both, and I hope you enjoy what I have to say about you. But first I have to blow my nose, because I'm dying. Y'all want to know the craziest thing about life? I go to a school with 40,000 people, and one of them was at camp this summer. And I saw her yesterday on the first day of school, and it was so cool, and that hug meant so much to me. Amber, I hope you're doing phenomenally. Miss Ma'am, you came to Caddy way too late in the summer. From the minute you showed up, the energy in the room was so much more loving, responsible, and calm. You were a level head to lead us into the woods. You were an irreplaceable friend for Livy, which was amazing to see, and you are really, really good at your job. You're studying education, which in my biased opinion immediately makes you good people. But you're also studying computer technology studies, which in my biased opinion makes you sadistic. Ah, the duality of woman. I truly have nothing but amazing things to say about you, Amber. Our out trip to Solo week 6 will be a cherished memory of mine forever. When 12-year-old girls decide to lose the only roll of toilet paper that we have, normally that would result in a trip turning sour. But under Amber's graceful tutelage, the girls, the counselors, and everyone involved had such a good time. Amber was also part of the apple pie filling fiasco that I'll mention later, so I'll always be eternally grateful for that. You go to school in the same place that I do. Don't be a stranger, because clearly you're going to see me whether you like it or not. If it happened day one, it's going to happen again. Maybe more good people are going to stop me from slandering Edmonton every chance that I get. But as of right now, go Flames, go Stamps, go Cavalry, the Oilers. I'm going to bleep that out. Thank you for being you. Don't change who you are at your core. And please bless Caddy with your company a year from now. Mary. Unfortunately, this one is also going to be short. I literally got 6 days to get to know this human being, but it's fine. Mary, the melanin queen herself, showed up for week 8 to help out, and she is just the best. The way you interact with the kids is a gift. If I was a camper, you're definitely the counselor that I would want to have. You're also so funny, even in the most low-key ways, bro. You're an elite guitarist. You were flexing on everybody whenever you had free time in this lounge, so thank you for blessing our ears with your melodies. You're just a good person, raised by good people. Thank you for being who you are, and I really hope we get to sit down and connect, because you have a story, and I would love to help you tell it. One night, we were having a music debate that went along the lines of this. I chimed in with, Jack Harlow is the best white rapper out right now. Keegan, absolutely flabbergasted, replied, shut up, Mac Miller this and Mac Miller that. And I was like, well bruh, I like to dance to my music. I don't pump sad boy Mac Miller. And Keegan got visibly offended. Mac Miller is not sad boy music. And then Mary's like, well... Anyways, to de-escalate the situation, this was offered. I said, listen, here are my top 5 rappers of all time right now in no particular order. Lil Wayne, longevity and creativity. That lighter flick is unmatched. Drake, everyone and their mama listens to Drake. There's no Six God slander welcome. J. Cole, he's a preacher, he's lyrically unmatched, and he makes club bangers as well. Kendrick, he's also a preacher, a social justice advocate. He's lyrically unmatched, and he makes club bangers as well. And Chance the Rapper, he's a preacher. He provides for his community. He's got the best ad-libs in the game. And he makes bangers. Mary tenses up as Keegan throws some slander towards Chance, Drake, and Jack Harlow. Then Mary was like, well, I low-key like Chance the Rapper, but I won't support him in public. By now, I exploded internally, because you were slandering my favorite artist. Don't be a bystander. Support Chance the Rapper vocally, and as often as possible, because he goes crazy. Thank you for the time you put in at Caddy, Mary, and hopefully we get more time together either at work or outside of it so I can get to know more about you and what shaped you. Now let's talk about the clans. There's 4 of them, and they're all equal, but the red team is the best team. When your kids come to camp, they're going to get sorted into one of the 4 clans, and they're going to be in that clan for life. You're going to live, breathe, and die for your clan. You're not actually going to die, but that's how I see it, and it makes it so much better. It's like the Hogwarts houses, and it's very similar to the Hogwarts houses because the red team's obviously the best team that everybody wants to be on. The yellow team is a good team, but it's got like some negative connotations around it for some reason. The blue team, super level-headed, really, really good at their jobs. Frustrating though. And the green team, Slytherin and Gaia are not the same at all, so maybe my analogy is a little broken, but it's fine. We do these clan activities once per day, Monday to Thursday. You accumulate clan points. The most clan points in the week wins the week, clan of the week, and the most clan weeks in the summer wins clan of the summer. It's pretty cool. There's other ways of winning clan points, but best way, clan games. So, starting, Gaia. Ah yes, the green team. Level-headed, formidable foes that I genuinely enjoyed competing against. The earth element, the lodgepole pine, and the cool northern wind. Elsa. Your accent is one of the coolest I've ever heard. Unfortunately, I have no clue where you're from. Fife. That's all that comes to mind. Sorry. One of the most talented artists I've ever seen. Our door tags. Give me a second. Let me show you this. This is ridiculous. Our door tags. This is probably backwards on the camera because that's how it works. Obviously, my mom came up with this, so Elsa, you can't take credit for that. But all of these trees, and these mountains, and this moon, and that sun, that was all you. I can't even fathom. You also helped me design the signs for the shop, which is a project that is coming to Caddy in 2023. So come back to camp and you'll see what I'm talking about. You're also one of the smartest people I've ever met. You taught me about all the bones in your foot right after you obliterated it on a tree root, so thank you for that lesson. You're also one of the most amicable and genuine people at camp. It was a pleasure. Watching your ability to make any camper, any staff member feel welcome, a part of the family, and special was incredible. Every interaction we had left me feeling elated on the other side of it. So thank you for also treating us all like people and making us feel like we were a part of the family as well. Your leaders in training were so lucky to get to spend 3 weeks developing with such an amazing human being. And it's a crime that we didn't get the same amount of time this summer. So please, don't be a stranger, because this is a relationship that I would love to foster further. Like, seriously, don't be a stranger. Before I continue, this is my call to every single person who's listening to this. If you have photos of us, send them to me, and I will send you the photos I have of us. It'll be a nice little exchange, because I need as many photos from this summer as I can get my hands on. Anyways, continuing. Avery, you're easily one of the coolest people that I've ever met. It's genuinely a pleasure every time we interact. You have so much patience, I cannot believe it. If I had to deal with junior girls for 2 weeks in a row, they'd have to hospitalize me for mental health issues, and you make it look like the easiest thing in the world. You're one of the most welcoming people I've ever met. It takes a very certain type of person to open your doors to other staff members for basically the entire summer. Don't be a stranger. I genuinely have so much fun when you're around. Thank you for being you. Declan. I got his parental permission to do this, so please don't yell at me, boss lady. You made the first week of camp so much fun. I'll be playing G-ball in my physical education classes for years to come. You have a lot of outdoor knowledge. It honestly blows my mind. You're an amazing guitarist, and please never give up on that hobby because you lightened a lot of rooms this summer. No matter what you decide to do, DK, as long as you put 110% of your effort into it, I'm positive you'll change the world. It was a pleasure. Justin. This man is a stoic sage, an immovable rock, and a shining example of responsibility. Apparently, his body is a deadly weapon, though. I'm pretty sure I was told a 3rd-degree black belt, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard, and a major achievement. I genuinely enjoyed our out trip to Captain's Cove in the summer. You taught me more than you'll ever know. Oh God, I'm not ready for this. Noah. If I get emotional here, there's a reason. And if I don't take any offense. Who knows what's going to happen? It's like first thing in the morning. It's not often when I can feel like I can confidently say I found a new family member. But this guy was everything to me this summer and more. Noah knows so much about culture, about rocks, about life. He's very well traveled. Each conversation we had, I was hanging on to every word, even if there wasn't many of them, because this guy was shy at the start of the summer. Noah's one of the strongest people I've met both mentally and physically. Unfortunately, Noah sweat off like 16 pounds, so by the time he left camp this summer, he looked like a bulldozer, not an African elephant. What a shame. He has incredible music taste and some of the most talented friends I've ever seen. Go listen to Noah's episode when it's up, and then go stream 49th and Main, because they're sick. Thank you genuinely for the time this summer, Noah. You made my dreams come true, and you helped me make Mark's summer. So I can never truly thank you for the impact you've left on me, but I will try. This man single-handedly made me feel like I was back in Camrose, getting my work in with my brothers in the Lion's Den, which is what we call the attic. Your emotional intelligence, your physical stature, your mental composure, and your genuine nature are all tools that will continue to serve you until the day you die. Thank you for being such a good role model for me. It doesn't matter if you're younger than me, and I cannot wait to see what volcanoes you discover, or if you truly are the first man to fully electrify or digitize the Irish transit system. I love you, brother, and that's all I have to say about that. Rachel. Chaos, disorder, wisdom, true grit. These are a few of the words I'd use to describe Rachel. She's so strong, and very patient as well. If I'd lived through half of what she has, I don't know if I'd be anywhere near her level of maturity and poise. She's an extremely intelligent human being. I cannot express how much I learned from you, and we only truly spoke like a couple of times. You're an amazing counselor and role model for your children. Not everybody can be calm all the time, and you're not calm all the time, but you're calm when you need to be calm. Your energy is electric, and your kids were beyond lucky to have you. Tony! Mr. German Engineering himself. There's nothing but pure brain power inside that head of yours. I have not met very many people whose work ethic rival my own, but you, sir, blow me out of the water. Being able to work with you week 7 was the biggest blessing I could have ever asked for, even though your feet smell horribly. Like Tony's feet, they're a chemical weapon. He should need a license to carry those things. It is brutal. But you're also just one of the best people I've ever met. Each interaction we had genuinely leaves me with a smile on my face. Never forget the impact you've left on this place. You moved here in the middle of winter and took care of Caddy before any of the seasonal staff or the leadership team was even around. Thank you for your sacrifice, and I genuinely hope you left Canada with nothing but good memories. I also want to say best of luck in university. I can't wait to see you change the world. Good soup! Come on. Lena. We did not get enough time this summer, and I know that's my fault, but nevertheless, you astound me. It's hard enough coming to another country, let alone facing an active communication barrier. Now, you accepted this challenge with grace and poise, and you absolutely blew it out of the water. The rare opportunities, since I wrote this before we worked together week 8, that I got to see you work, I know the kids absolutely adored you. And then we had Namaste together, and that just cemented that. Our girls loved you. I loved you. You're the greatest. I also need you guys to understand how good Lena is at basketball. From what I've understood, and I could be wrong, she plays or played in the A-League in Germany, which is one of the most impressive things that I have ever heard in my life. Thank you for contributing to our community this summer. It'll be impossible to say goodbye this week, and it was. I was crying lots. But I cannot wait to see what you do in your life. If you ever find yourself back in Canada, don't be a stranger. My dearest Sheffy. Oh, I forgot to say your name. Mackenzie. My dearest Sheffy. What more can I say? Without you, we would have starved. Life isn't life without a little spice, and you provide spice in every sense of the word. I've told you this already, but I feel like the best people end up having the hardest stories. There is a reason why I continue to remind you that you are one of the best people I have ever met in my life. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for putting your feelings aside and contributing nothing but love and life to the Cadicasu community. You may have some raunchy humor, but I cannot express how much it means to me that you are consistently able to make me laugh. Never lose that, because a smile shared with you was enough to turn even the worst days around. I also hope I was able to help you cement the worth you hold. I don't have to tell you this because you're already smart, but don't settle, and you know what I'm talking about. Don't forget, just because I'm not physically around, I am truly a phone call away. Thank you for changing my life this summer. Mark. With a C. Aptly named the Frog King. While we only worked together on the out trip week 1, I know you had some phenomenal weeks and some weeks that were a lot harder. But through it all, you had good vibes and a smile on your face. People don't understand how much a change in attitude or perspective can truly change an experience. Thank you for all the work that you put in. I also admire your fearlessness to be unapologetically yourself. It took me a very long time to get to that point in my life. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do something or cannot be great. You're already great. And no matter where life takes you, I'm positive that you're going to do amazing things for our world. Thank you for the summer, and I hope this year treats you phenomenally. Oksana. Okay, let me explain. For this to have happened, this podcast, I had to get verbal permission from everyone, and I did that to the best of my ability. But there's a couple people that I couldn't do that for. Oksana is one of those people. I would like to entirely blame this on the fact you were bedridden for the last 2 weeks of camp, so this is your fault. But I can't bring myself to do that, so I hope you're feeling better. First of all, Oksana, you're one of the most genuine people I have ever had the pleasure to meet. I genuinely think everybody on camp loved you, and that's a huge feat with so many personalities around. My week in the kitchen, being able to sit with you at the lunch table and just laugh, was the biggest blessing that I could have ever asked for. Thank you for being you. You spent a majority of your summer protecting the boss lady's kids. Not only is that the noblest thing I've ever heard, you also have the emotional fortitude to deal with the most selective 3-year-old I've ever met. And I mean seriously. If I ask the little man for another fist bump and he leaves me hanging, I will break down emotionally. So the fact you can deal with that is crazy. Once again, I'm sorry I didn't get to ask you if it was okay to speak about you, but there was absolutely no way I wasn't going to give you the respect and appreciation that you were due. Tessa. Have you guys ever met the embodiment of an emotion? Because Tessa is the embodiment of pure euphoria. Everything she does is to chase a smile, a laugh, or a memory with somebody else, and I think that is so beautiful, bro. You took care of 2 of the most important people to me this summer, the first being yourself. It's a crime that sickness robbed us of being able to work together week 6, but I saw how much your girls loved you the week after. You're truly a natural when it comes to working with the little people. It was a blessing being able to learn from you this summer. And I needn't say who the second person is, but thank you for looking out for my boy. I genuinely appreciate it. I don't exactly know which part of the UK you're from, but I do know that they're beyond lucky to have access to your humor and your energy year-round. I know a lot of angry Canadians who could learn a thing or two from you. Once again, if you ever find yourself back on this side of the ocean, don't be a stranger! You are always welcome in the YY City, and thank you for making Caddy a richer place than it was when you arrived in June. And also enjoy your cross-country exploration with the gang that is currently happening. I'm extremely jealous. And that wraps it up for the green team. Once again, if you're one of the people who is under 18, you are on the green team, I'm sorry. Get older, maybe I can talk about you next year.